In the interconnected world which we are all exposed to nowadays, one cannot escape from the impact of different cultures and diversity. Now, I do recall that when I started my career and I was supposed to go to Malaysia for some work, I was given tips like um, you must keep the workplace neat, then you need to put on a deodorant, you need to address everyone with a Mr. Han or Mrs. Han, like that, or Miss. You can't just straight away take the names. You need to be able to always be courteous and uh, never get into conflicts. And with a bunch of such instructions and also a training program around it, I was then sent to Malaysia. When I was sent to US for some other work, I realized that similar guidelines followed. Here, the things were you must tip the taxi guy. Other things included on time. Whatever you commit, you must finish your work on time. You must be extremely professional in your approach, but at the same time, you can address people with their first names, not an issue. As opposed to now, and be happy to rake up issues. No issues uh, should be shifted under the carpet because then delays at the work can happen. Now, these two were two very different inputs that I gathered for Malaysia, and here was US. Then I realized that over time there is no need for these kind of cultural sensitivity, the workshops or the inputs that one is provided before someone goes there. As I worked across India, across north, south, east, west with different organizations, I saw that there is a common thread. As I went to other countries and worked with people from other geographies who had come to India, I saw that there is a different context to the whole thing. The more we try to segregate, the more I think one tries to confuse. So, yes, we all know that there is a lot of good work on culture done by Hofstede, and one can go to his website and study that. It's an essential thing to be aware. But I think fundamentally there are two things in this. One is related to understanding, and the other is related to working with different cultures. Now, understanding cultures and working with cultures also lends itself to the discussion on diversity which is happening nowadays. Now, when we are looking at understanding cultures, no one is saying that you need to, if you go to US, you start playing golf. I don't think the Americans expect you to play golf, or conversely, we don't expect any American or European coming to India to start playing cricket. It doesn't work like that. Basically, what we mean that when we talk of understanding cultures, we say the individual must have no bias in his mind. You should not be conditioned with statements which people or media tend to make that Americans are like this or Indians are like that. There is nothing like one category of American or one category of Indian. There is nothing like that. There is no stereotype. And this has to go very deep. So fundamentally, a lot of biases form because you are talking to people or you are watching movies, and both of them don't really give you a good understanding of the culture out there. When you are talking of understanding, remember that people have different backgrounds. Now, so you cannot in a discussion know anything much about the background of an individual or something too much about it. So but what you can do is to stick to fundamentals of discussions. You don't ridicule cultures or people. You don't talk negative. You are positive. You try to solve problems. You look at solutions. The other various things. You don't get into the backgrounds and all, but be very sensitive that different people come from different background, and there is no reason for anyone to make any comments about anyone, anything in particular. Next is that one has to be sensitive to the social etiquette. This is something it's always good to pick up a book and go through it, or else uh, in case of doubt, please do feel free to ask a friend about what is to be done, or you can just admit saying that, hey guys, I don't know what to do here. I have been invited for a dinner, so should I take a bottle of wine, or I just don't take anything, or do I take what is it that is expected out of me? What is the kind of dress I should be wearing? All of these bits. And as a matter of fact, what you should always do is that never get into confrontation, because confrontations are absolutely useless. So whether it be a discussion or a dialogue on religion, or it is a discussion or a dialogue on habits, one should never get into a confrontation. So you should learn to be able to differentiate between the person and the issue, and be able to discuss in a very, very neutral plane. Now, staying neutral in a discussion which might be a charged discussion is also requires a lot of good skills out there. And of course, whenever there is any requirement which you don't understand, feel free to ask for help and say that I might be making some cultural mistakes because I don't understand your culture. Please understand that I don't intend to hurt any feelings or sentiments, and in case I have in case there is something that I need to know, I should know before an event or an activity is carried out, or when I am invited somewhere, please let me know, and be absolutely clear that you should ask for help whenever in doubt. The other aspect of this is working. How do you work with different cultures? One side is that you should have a very good understanding. Understand people as people. You don't understand people as only the countries they represent. Yeah. Next is when you work with them, remember that there is no need to learn golf or soccer in case you are not a fan of the game. This people say that this helps you in generating a small chat, but I don't think so. In my experience, this has never helped. But what helps is the interest to learn, if anything, if it's a genuine interest. Now, if there is a genuine interest, I have seen people go out of the way trying to explain things to you, but make sure that this interest is absolutely genuine and you want to know more about it. If not, don't fake. Focus on the aspects of professional courtesy. Now, which means that you might not be very sure whether you should shake hands in the first interaction, or how do you greet each other, or how do you go about in an evening engagement, everything like that. In the realm of professional courtesy, you just there's no harm asking about the dress code, or about how do they greet each other. Like you might say that yes, in India people do say namaste, but yeah, well, in professional courtesy that's a social courtesy, but in professional courtesy we just shake hands or we say hello to each other. The other bit of this is the way to respect every individual is never waste his or her time. Fundamentally, that is the way you mark and showcase your respect. It's not about that you act as if you are very busy, or you might have been very busy, but if there is a meeting at 3, then you better be there at 3. You cannot be there at 3:05. That 5 minutes of an individual's time you have then wasted. So this professional courtesy and professional working are very, very critical aspects of it. Um, Now, when we talk of culture, remember that when you are a global citizen, there is nothing like a uh, you know do this or don't do this. The term global citizen is applicable today to most of the people who are getting into work, or those who are having collaborators from where they are getting machines and spares or something. So most of us do interact globally a lot. So be a global citizen. Understand that there is nothing about deodorants or first names or conflicts and all. Different cultures work at different things differently. So be a global citizen. Have a very, very broad approach to culture. Do not have biases. Understand the backgrounds. And if you don't understand something, and if you're genuinely interested to know, ask, and people will tell you. No issues on that. And in case you feel that you are really out of place and you don't know how to go around something, ask for help. That's it. It's simple, provided you don't have any bias. The problem comes because most of the individuals have a lot of bias in them and they have a lot of stereotypes. When you have biases and stereotypes to deal with first, you therefore have a trouble. So, for information about cultures, you can go through many books. Hofstede has done stellar work in this area, but fundamentally start with having a very neutral mindset of yours. And once you have this neutral mindset, it becomes so easy for you to understand other cultures and you start enjoying the cultural interaction so much more. Multicultural interaction, global citizenship, these are the norms for the future. You have to be able to adjust to that. So get ready to be one and learn to be one.